and welcome to my couch. So we are going to cover Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 14. So here we go with Candace trying to warm up her worn out vocal cords with her vocal coach. And it's just, oh my God, every time I hear this girl singing on camera, it drives me absolutely insane. It's like you feel that cringe feeling. It's just, it's a lot. And but she's trying to release her song that she did about her husband, the remix version, and she wants to perform it too. So good for her. At least she's, you know, getting in the work and actually seeing a vocal coach and all that good stuff. Unlike some people out here, Kim and her tardy for the party, awful ass voice. So then Giselle and Robin meet Karen at a tea house. Giselle has this fake ass concern for Karen and just really wanted a reason to film, basically. She's claiming because they've known each other the longest that she gives a damn. Okay, girl. But, you know, Karen's aware that the green-eyed bandits are maybe up to something, so she comes with her guns cocked, she ready to go. And God knows what these two women are wearing. Robin's wearing this like 80s jacket that she borrowed from Janet Jackson's old school closet, and Giselle has this fur waistcoat. I don't know, the girl. Anyway, so Karen comes. Giselle is congratulating Robin on her company, her hat company, and she calls it embezzled instead of embellished. I mean, the shade you gonna throw at this chick, even though she's having tax problems. I'm just like, it's just, I'm trying to figure out, do you think it's on purpose? Because I really feel like it's on purpose. It's like she's trying to fake shade her friend. It's weird. It's weird. Like, oops, I didn't mean to shade you. Yeah, I feel like Robin need to get rid of Giselle. So Karen then asks Robin about the taxes and what's going on with that. And Robin says, you know, I can't really talk about it. And I'm like, doesn't that sound familiar? Because when Karen had her tax problems with Ray, they were just like trying to drag out information from her, and oh, now how the tables have turned. But Karen is very gracious, and she says, you know, whatever's going on, I have your back and I support you. Karen is a class act. Karen is the person that she was trying to force portray in the very first season. It's just like, it's just so smooth, it's authentic. I'm loving it. I'm loving all them pieces. So Giselle then brings up, leading into it, you know, that Wendy had told her that she had confided in her while she was drunk, and basically said that she felt like Karen was resentful towards Ray and she wanted her money back. And so Karen says that that's not true, and then talks about how she feels Wendy is ignorant, and then says that she's not a medical doctor, and they were like, well, what's that got to do with anything? But it makes sense. It's like, you can't diagnose anybody when you are not an actual doctor of that field. And then she starts to attack Wendy's walk and does this is a really funny imitation of her. And of course the girls are just eating it up so they can go take it back to Wendy because they ain't got nothing else to do. We're back with Wendy and her achievement issues, and she's going on and on about everything she's achieved again, and she's upset that Karen called her ignorant. But book smarts don't absolve you of being ignorant. So she might have to just really take in some of what Karen is saying, because your level of education doesn't negate anything that Karen said. So Ashley's gone back to the therapist solo, and they talk about how she felt the session went with Michael, and she thought that it was very successful. They got a lot covered. and that she realizes that they were both sexually unhappy. She said that she feels like she is a utility for Dean, and the idea of that just feels so miserable to me. Like, I don't know, I don't have kids, I don't know what it's like to give birth, and but just to think that you've just become a machine for your child has to just be really uncomfortable. And Ashley used to be very full of life. She loved to do a lot of activities. That girl loved to drink, do her yoga and all that stuff. And just to think she's just become this shell of herself is it's kind of sad watching it. But I know what it's like to feel like that. I don't know about having children, but when you don't feel like yourself, or you feel like a shell of yourself, and trying to get out of that box and feeling like you don't know how to do it and no one can help you, that has to be tough. So it's really great that she's able to go and get therapy and work on that. But the doctor encourages her to start doing things that she loves again, and so the vacation comes up. So trip time. Candace is back in the studio, and honestly, I have to say, her voice on the track actually sounds good. It does. And I don't actually like this song when it comes to house music or that genre. Like, I wouldn't even want to hear this song at a barbecue. But I'm sure there's a place for it where it will do well, and congratulations to her. Because the producer then asks Candace to sign to his label, which brings us to tears, and she says yes. And especially after, when she was a kid, she was supposed to be in some group and they got offered a contract, but obviously it was a shitty contract. It's the music industry, so that never played out very well for her. So it's really great that she gets to live out this dream that she's had. Really happy for her. Congratulations. As long as she keeps the voice in the studio and we don't have to hear any more live renditions or performances, I'm good. So Monique and Chris get to, they're getting their beautiful children ready for school, but Monique seems really snappy with Chris, and she's talking about how the case is weighing on her and that she could be arrested at any time in front of her children, and she could be put in jail for years and being taken away from her family. And that's just really putting a deep stress on her. But these are the things you have to think about when you get physical with somebody. Now, I've already said, I don't give a fuck that she hit Candace. I feel like Candace deserved it. However, when you do things like that, you have to be aware of the consequences that somebody like Candace may do what she's doing. These are things you need to be aware of. So, yeah, it's kind of just like you got to take them lumps at the end of the day. So Giselle's cabin, her cabin in the woods, seems to be coming together. Ashley pulls up with baby Dean, and she asks Giselle if it's safe, because the last time she came, it was condemned. So, so Ashley talks to Giselle about her therapy sessions and how it's going, and the things that Michael had said, and Michael's ego. And she asks Giselle how she deals with that with Jamal. And basically, Giselle says that, she had to let go of the thought that Jamal might embarrass her in the future. Because when in situations like that, it's kind of like, you chose to go back there, then just please suffer quietly, because I don't want to hear it. Just suffer in silence. Keep your mouth shut. So then Ashley brings up the trip, and she's like, who all going? And then she's like, okay, she wants to invite Monique, but Giselle says, she's not going to feel comfortable with that. Neither is Robin, Wendy, and of course, Candace is not. So it would just make the trip extremely uncomfortable for Monique as well as the lady. So it was best that she didn't go. So Robin then does her shoot for her embezzled company. And she hires this model who looks exactly like Katie Ross, but just slightly younger. And she asked her, has anyone ever said that you look like Katie Ross? And it's like, hey. Don't you want to slap a young bitch like that? Like, come on, girl. And you know she actually, like, the shade was just so genuine. She really doesn't know who she is. And yeah, so they take back Karen's imitation of Wendy to Wendy, of course, which it makes Wendy irate, and she wants to address it with Karen. And Robin says that it wouldn't be a Robin event without Giselle causing some drama. But I'm like, that's your homegirl. Why don't you address her? Like, you know that she doesn't... And you think Giselle would have learned from the last time. But at the same time, Robin really likes the drama. She likes to be a part of it until it affects her. And so, you know, she's definitely partly to blame. But, like, for real, you don't know how to check your girl? Like, she God, Giselle ain't got no respect for anybody. So, Robin, you kind of deserve it. So Karen enters the room, and Wendy's giving her all side eyes and whatnot. She asks Candace how she's feeling, and Candace is just so confused because, you know, Karen's been really supportive for me too. I really feel like they baby her. Like, how are you? Are you okay? The girl's fine, okay? Okay, so then Ashley surprises them with a trip, and she brings out the flag as a hint, but all of them can't even figure out what the hell this flag is. They calling out China, they calling out Nigeria. Like, girl, that was terrible. But Wendy's the one who figures out it's Portugal because she's a soccer/football fan. And I was like, why are y'all trying to make them feel dumb? Like, flags is not really like, you know, I'll be on people's Instagram and I see the flag, I'm like, what the hell is that? And start trying to figure out like the colors and whose flag it is. It's like nobody's out there figuring out flags like that. Like, it's weird, but should be a fun trip. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. So now Wendy wants to address Karen because she wants to go on good terms to this trip, and she says, how can you come at me for not being a medical doctor when I have 4 degrees and you have none? So then Karen says she has a business and a marriage. I really don't know what the marriage has to do with achievements. Wendy's married too, so you can't really like say you're one upper and that and whatnot. Like the business, yeah, I get, but I just don't know why she said that. Sometimes she be saying some weird shit. So Wendy says she's not one to brag, but she continues to brag, and everyone's looking at her like, bitch, that's all you do. All she ever does. They show a montage of her talking about her 4 degrees, and then she goes on about her husband's 4 degrees, and Karen's talking about her husband's achievements and her achievements, so on. Karen says every time they have an issue, it's because someone has misinterpreted something she said and added funk to it, and that's exactly what happened. Giselle was adding all this extra sauce that was unnecessary. And she says she understands the power of education, but she's been blessed with an entrepreneurial spirit, so she doesn't need one. Okay, Karen, yes. And that's the truth of it. So I know in this country, education is something that's been harped on, especially in the Black community, coming up like you can't get anywhere without a degree. But as time has gone on, like things are changing so much. The entrepreneurial spirit has been pushed forward. People who don't even complete college and have a business are making 10 times more than those people who have an education. And I know plenty of people who have an education and ain't got no money. They're struggling to rub 2 coins together, or they're not even in the field that they love. They're not even able to use their degree. So it's great to have something you could say. I even noticed that in dating, people are like, oh, I went to college and I did this. And it's like, great. Are you a decent human being? Like, it's like being able to check these boxes, and these boxes have become more important than human decency. And yeah, so I'm gonna need Wendy to like find another way to shade a bitch besides that, which is great, but give us something else, please. So then Karen says she thinks Giselle's messiness has something to do with her issues with Jamal, because it's like, why are you finding reasons to cause problems? So she's taking the heat off Wendy and moving it on to Giselle, which is what she should do, because Giselle's always the one who's causing the confusion. That's our spirit. So then they start talking back about the walk, and Karen said that Wendy slithered down the steps. And then so she starts imitating her again, and then all the girls start copying her, which couldn't have made Wendy feel good. And they slither their asses out the door. Anyway, 2 days later, Monique's countersuit drops. And Candace calls her a rusty ass bitch. And you know the way she said it? You know she fucking felt that shit. That was hilarious. But what bothered me was she was calling Monique's friends hood rats to her white husband. And if a black man did that, people would be going off. So I don't understand why it's acceptable for Candace to keep making these derogatory comments about black women to her white husband. Shit is not cool, and it's really tacky. But anyway, her husband tries to calm her down. He's the only one who seems to be able to get around that mouth. And that's where the episode ended. Next week, they're going to Portugal. Seems like there's a bunch of arguments and fights as per usual. And it looks like it'll be fun. So, yeah. Thank you guys for checking in with me today. If you guys heard that dog barking, I apologize. My neighbors upstairs are assholes. Plus, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and have a dog barking. It really sucks. But yeah, if you're able to get through to this point, please comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time.